Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for a max effort lower day, and I started off by warming up with some good mornings. Something I've started doing recently, again, like I've said previously, Louis Simmons used to do this. Something I've not really done. I did it for a little while at one time, but I'm like, it really isn't a terrible idea. Not the worst idea in the world. And since I'm going to do lots of good mornings anyways during all my lower body workouts, it makes sense to do it. Just like before my benching, now I've started warming up with some sort of middle or upper back exercise. So again, one good set just to get blood flow to the area, get everything, pumped and all of that, just for better stability and to kind of warm it all up. So again, my normal work sets are 25 reps with that weight, so that's what I did. And I couldn't figure out this morning, I was going to do some sort of squat or box squat. I'm like, what am I going to do? I don't know what to do. When in doubt, just do a good morning. And I've started doing good mornings again. I haven't done that many good mornings, so I'm like, man, I'm going to be really weak at this, but let's just go in. Because I said before, I need to get to 500 plus on these. I'm like, let's just start working it up. Okay. I started working it up. And I realized, these aren't that heavy. I know I started doing them again recently, but I've been doing all this other posterior chain work. I've been doing some max effort work, and I'm like, let's see what we can get. So that was 405. I'm like, that's not bad. I'm like, I bet I can get to 445. So let's just go for 4 plates. It's an 85-pound bar for those curious. So those 45s added up. I'm like, all right, 445. This will probably be my max. Let's get in. Let's get tight. It's like game face, Jason. Get in and do it. I went down and I do it. All right, there we go. We come down and I'm like, I could have done reps with that. That felt like maybe 90%. So I'm like, do I throw the 50 on or do I go 55? So I did. I threw a 25 and a 2.5 on each side. I'm like, let's just do the 500. Let's just get it out of the way. It's like, I know I can do it. As soon as I walked it out and I braced, I'm like, I 100% got this. I knew it as soon as I braced. Nice, good depth, brought it up. You can tell it was slower. That was probably real close to a max. I don't think I had much more. Of course, there I am talking. If you guys saw the reel, like lightweight. And here's how I know it really was a lot closer to a max than it might have looked. I put 405 on the bar, and I'm like, let's see if I can do some triples with it. I did one triple with this, and I'm like, I am done. Right? Like, I was struggling to even get deep enough. Right? I'm just like, oh man. This is heavy. Why is this 405 so heavy? This feels heavier than that 445 did. Why? Well, because I did a max. I think we're good. So I think what I'm going to do on these, I'm going to do some rep work on these, maybe 10s or 12s on the dynamic day. And let's build some muscle in that position. Let's see if we can get that lift up. So I'm like, so let's get over to just tons of hypertrophy work. So what did I tell you guys I'm going to do? I'm going to cut the cardio out mostly during the week. I'm going to take these training volumes up. Okay, now the lower stuff isn't going to be as high as some of the upper, but it's still pretty dang high for me. We're back to the sort of volumes I was doing now when I hit that 605 cambered bar squat, which was a little high. It was also good morning in 550 at the time. So for the quads and everything, so I'm like, let's come in, let's superset some glute ham raises and belt squats. Now these belt squats, here's the thing I'm finding. I've been going a lot deeper on these and my quads hurt. Like these are literally painful on my quads. Like I almost feel like I'm not going to get through the sets because of the depths I'm getting on these now. They hurt my quad tendons so much that I almost don't want to complete the set. But I'm doing it, and I think I'm going to work with this weight, and I'll see if I can just work the reps up a little bit. I feel like this is a nice, comfortable weight. But just like everything else we're doing, it's going to be 10 plus reps on everything. Volume, volume, volume. Why? Because we can do one, like maybe one heavy assistance movement on max effort day. Like I did, I chose good morning. I chose the exercise I just did as a heavy assistance to do a triple with. I was hoping I could get several sets, but I'm just like, no. The fatigue is there. That 500 was a lot. I'm not used to that. I had the strength, but my body was also like that. So it wants to put on the brakes after that. It's like, do not put anything else heavy on your back. And I listened. Like my body was telling me that when I grabbed that 405 or the triple, everything else needs to be unloaded. Just go light, just build muscle. Build muscle, Jason, which is what I did. So I just did some sets of 10 on the glute ham raise. And I'm doing these as the full range of motion, so I'm going all the way down. People can argue all they want. people love to argue with me on anything I do for my back, anything for my hamstrings, or it doesn't work. And I'm like, but then they see my lats. And then they see what I deadlift. They see me doing a 500-pound good morning. It's all clearly working exactly as intended. So I just did those. So I did sets of 12 on the belt squats and then supersetted them with sets of 10s. And doing the reverse hypers first, I feel like it gives me that pump, a little bit of pump in the hamstrings. They feel full when I go over to do this stuff. So again, it just feels more stable, but it feels really difficult. Like seriously, these belt squats, since I've been doing them deeper like this, they are painful. It's the whole lower tendon. And then I get DOMs in the lower quad in that tendon area for a couple days after doing these every time. Now, I think I'll feel like I'll eventually adapt, especially if I get more blood flow. So I feel like doing the leg extensions will help. So maybe on Friday, I might come in and do a lot of volume on those leg extensions after the speed work. Again, build the quads. And the people will say stuff like, I'll joke and say things like, I'll speed box good morning and leg extension my way to a giant squat again. And people be like, you can't do that, it won't work. And I'm like, it's worked before. Like, whatever, bros. As long as I'm building muscle. And those leg extensions on there, I feel a really great quad burn. Look at where I stick on quads. Like, look where I stick when I hit heavy squats. And I feel like those leg extensions are definitely going to carry over to that weak link. Just build the quads. But the other thing people forget, if you can good morning a ton of weight and just build your quads on anything, your squat's going to be massive. Just anything that hypertrophies the quads, once the good morning is big, you're in a good position. So yeah, I can come in and do stuff like this. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. But I do want to take that quad volume up a little more because I know those leg extensions is a perfect example of something I can handle a lot of volume on. I can't do a lot of volume on these belt squats. My knee tendons, like my patellar tendons, are just like, what are you doing to us? And it's not like tendonitis level. It's just the stretch that I get hammers those lower quads bad. It just hurts like hell, in a good way. But I also get to a point to where it is uncomfortable enough that I don't want to do more than about 3 sets. Just like, yeah, I'm just not feeling it past that. So we can come in and do an easier to recover from exercise afterwards. So after that, so I did my 3 sets of each of those, but I can do that both days. So I end up with 6 total sets per week. And I think once we start doing all that speed work with it, that's where that volume really accumulates. So those speed boxes and the speed pulls will help. I think I'm going to work more sumo speed pulls in for a bit. All right. I did conventional last week. I did sumo the week before. I feel like the sumo, because I'm so much weaker at sumo and the position, I think that's going to carry over to my squatting. All right. I need to get that hip structure to where I can handle those nice wide positions, because I used to squat really wide. Like my big squats are pretty dang wide, the biggest ones I've hit. So I've got to get to where I can do that. And I've got to get this upper back mobility and size up to accommodate putting those big loads up on my shoulders and getting them comfortable. That's the tricky part. So another reason I'm doing so much of this upper back work, every workout we're hitting something for the back. Although tomorrow I'll probably just do chins. I'm going to do weighted pull-ups, normal pull-ups, maybe at different points in the week. But I feel like that since tomorrow is just a dedicated bicep day, since my physique needs the biceps, even though I'm kind of powerlifting now, again, I do have bodybuilding and physique goals. I need to get leaner and I need my arms to come up a lot. I need a dedicated bicep day. So I throw it in the middle of the week and conjugate. So I think tomorrow I may just do chins and keep working chin strength and just do like 5 types of curls afterwards. All right. But I want to work the straight bar curls back in too. I feel like I need them. So it could be like I could do chin, straight bar, right? Then incline, then dumbbell preacher, then alternating dumbbell. Standing. That's a good combo. Then just pump out with bands until my biceps are shot, right? Not a bad way. So I think that's kind of what I want to do with it tomorrow. I've rotated between the chins and the pull-ups. But I think that will do really well for me. And then I can forget my biceps for a whole week. Like, look, we just hammer them once and just go back to everything else. Power, power, power. Which, again, is a lot of 10 to 20 rep sets. So, again, every day working that upper back, upper back, upper back. I need that, again, improved shoulder health, and I need that thicker shelf again up top. If I want to get my squat where I want it, I need this shelf to make it stable. And so, again, continue to build that up. So I did, again, supersets with the reverse hypers, 3 sets of these with then the, the incline dumbbell rows, which I'm getting a lot out of those. It's one of my 3 big back exercises. I'm doing more volume on those than anything because they're easy to recover from. And plus my upper back is a little less developed than my lats. So I'm still gonna do chin-ups and pull-ups every week, but then seal rows will be a big deal too, which also hit my lats really hard. So I tend to do the seal rows on both my bench press days. And I had gotten really strong out of it now. I'm like, let's just drop them down to 10 plus. Let's do 205 or 10 plus reps, right? We don't need to try to push 5s and 6s, like just build muscle. I don't want to get any weight on the back. I can just do weighted chins on the bicep day and treat that a little bit more like a more strength exercise. Just build muscle, build muscle, build muscle, build muscle. Name of the game, get thick. Speaking of the thick, we did 3 sets of leg extensions. I got 20 reps and it was all I could handle. They just burned like hell. So the same weight I've kind of used, but I've PR'd on that. Remember when I was getting about 17 or 18 with that weight? So I did all this other work. Now I'm up to where I can get about 20, and at 20 it hurts. So again, doing 20 rep sets of this, and people again can argue about using the reverse hyper. It's what I have, and it works. I feel that burn, and it does hit the quad at those joint angles where I tend to start missing squats. It'll also help with breaking the deadlift off the floor faster. Okay, so I feel like it's just right that mid-range squat. I don't miss squats in the hole. I miss squats about 8 inches above parallel. Is where I tend to miss a squat. So start looking at what's going on with those quads there. The extensions will help. And same thing, look at those angles where I tend to need it for deadlift power off the floor. So again, I feel like it'll bring a lot to the table. Just keep building the quads. And I did in between it a couple sets of 20 plus. I just called it 20 plus. It was like 25, then I got like 22 or 23. I lost count. I did a couple sets of these. Why? I feel like a little forearm work won't help. Yes, I know my forearms are good and the rest of my arm needs work, but I feel like, again, squat deadlift type day, a little bit of forearm work, never a bad thing. Let's just get a little bit of forearm pump, get some blood flow, work on it, right? And at least forearms look good. So again, not a bad thing since we're in just building muscle and we're doing lots of volume, hitting everything. It kind of makes sense. Do a little bit of grip type work, some forearm work. Also today, I've noticed even that I'm still holding more water through the waistline on the lower carbs, so I'm just adjusting my diet at this point. I'm not losing any water from having taken the carbs out, so I'm going to start rotating really clean carbs back into my fasted window. Starting today, I've got the Instapot going. I have some of my fattier foods I need to mix in and rotate through, and then I'll go over to a lot more of a chicken and brown rice type bro diet during my window and see if we do a little better. So I rotate those things a lot depending on what's going on. I was hoping I would drop some water from the lower carbs. It's just not really happening. So I just need to tighten the diet up more. Just make sure that I keep the fasted window small so that it limits food intake. Train super hard. Take those training volumes up. We'll burn through more calories and just keep working on some recomposition. I know there's a lot of nuance to that. But again, build muscle, burn fat. Name of the game. Get jacked, get strong. But yeah, I absolutely need to get thicker, but I need to get leaner. So as long as my diet is geared towards that, and I feel like all the high volume fasted training does help with that, we'll continue to make progress. So again, finished up with the leg extensions, and again, quads burned like hell. I want to do a little more volume, but I'm feeling like I'm at my limits today. Right? We got to build this work capacity up. So I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.